Looks like me and my friend missed this the other day when we came in. Returned to this area because he was riding his bike and said there was a couple more things even in here. And tiny little one. Then you've got some stick placements here. Here's some fresh snap off. A few up in the tree here. More than a few, really. These here. Damn, look at this. That is definitely... I'm gonna have to show Mike. I don't even know if he saw that. It's so funny. If you don't go 360 in an area, you can totally miss it. Right here is where we had stopped and seen... Where the heck is it? It's right there. These logs right here, balanced up. That was the first little structure I showed in the video last time. But you know, something is hanging out in here, ripping bark off of trees, sticking stuff up in here. Just probably ground glyphs I'm not even seeing. You know, little subtleties that they do. The language that they create out of the sticks. I mean, technically, here's another one. All this here, across here is another example. And the trail's right here. Just checking this from the other side, but it's like all flat in here where I'm sure the little squatch or whoever's making it is climbing right up in here. And you can tell they're standing right in here and then making this. And they probably made it from this side, sitting inside, snapping sticks, placing all the fresh snaps and all that in here. Weave that in and bust it down where it was already there and they broke it and used it, whatever. Kind of a trident, but it doesn't matter. You can tell it's fresh work and that's what's important. But it's like a little perch up here in the tree. Totally cool. Just to be standing where they could be sitting, you know. See all this, these aren't sticks. This is a different kind of plant woven in here that would not be in here unless it was carried up. Some grass, stuff that didn't grow up in here. Anyway, man, pretty cool. Look at this, just before I leave. This is where I am, standing up in the tree here, looking at all this, and this is wedged in here. This little Y shape, you know, freshly snapped off and debarked. It's just cool to think of the Bigfoot handling this stuff. Here's some other placements. Got this one coming down. These coming across at an angle, tucked in, interwoven. One of them, this one's a beaver chew coming down, but we went the other way. Instead of coming all the way along the river last time, we found some stuff and came back up here and found the structures over here. And we didn't come to this area. And then my friend pointed out to me this little dugout hole. Could have been an anthill, could have been whatever. There's a night crawler right there. I don't know why that's dug out. And then this is a structure right here. Oh. All smaller stuff piled up. I don't think it looks brand new, but then this is for fresh, kind of fresh cut. I guess not so much. This is broken off. So maybe it's been snapping off it instead of adding to it. I don't know. But I think the other structures we found were just in this little gully in here and then on the flat part over there. So kind of just right in line, 1, 2, 3 in a row, but we just didn't make it this far. But it's kind of cool that he came back and double checked. Sometimes I'll go to an area and I don't return for a while, but this kind of merits good investigation. You can see some bark laid up, but the vertical and horizontal placements, it's like a dead giveaway. And just the fact that it's a pretty perfect little spot. I'm sure they could either duck down in here and conceal themselves a bit, break up their outline, or as I've stated in the past, whatever purpose that they're using it for, they're doing something with it. But good find by Mike. Same area. There's another little teepee right here. Pretty obvious build with all this interwoven. That's really cool. Not necessarily new, but I mean, if it's for like shelter or concealment, it makes no sense for it to be this sparse and open. So it has to be for something else. I don't think they would just start this and leave it. The really cool thing is that this piece is off the ground by a foot or so, and it's coming up and it's just hanging in there, wedged in. Cool little finds in a cool little area though. My friend was telling me how this is probably part of the river that floods and comes up. And I'm like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, man, look, and there's these seashells and stuff here that are kind of weird. I don't often see that stuff. So I don't know if they're prehistoric, he said, or if they're in here now. But kind of cool just to look for little rock specimens. I'm kind of a rock hound. Don't always know what I'm doing, but I got pretty good luck finding stuff. Just got to keep your eyes peeled for anomalies and such. But anyway, we're going to continue walking and see what we find throughout here. This is some work right by the bark teepee that when I saw that bark teepee, I just like heat seeked it right to it, and we walked right by this because we were coming from this direction, and the angle of the tree was partially blocking it. But it's not the most obvious, and yet it looks like just a little bit of work right here with the big stuff in the background, the obvious bark build, and then that's a little more, you know, deniable, whatever you want to say. Not the greatest, freshest, newest evidence, but it might mark this is a special spot, and that's why they build right next to it. Who knows? Still pretty cool. Look at this. Glyphy. Little structure, whatever it is. A forest glyph. Maybe they don't always have to sit on the ground. You know, a glyph, it might not necessarily just mean something on the ground. Maybe these are saying things just like the X's. Or maybe it's just a good balancing act. This one and this coming down looks like the main feature of this, but just cool to see that in the forest. And it looks placed there, you know. I wonder if it got ripped off right here even and just stuck on. But you know, did it fall naturally? I don't know why just those pieces fell in this perfect position. It just looks artsy as I almost destroy it. I don't know. Could be right, could be wrong. There's actually another stick on the other side. The shape of a Y. So that's, you know, whatever. I know they grow like that. That's old. Could be just coincidence, but That's broken off pretty good, pretty clean. I don't know, cool stuff to think about. Check it out. Mike actually took a picture of that yesterday and the bark wasn't there. So today the bark is freshly down in one day, just that day since he was here. That's pretty cool. Got another one here. Got to give credit to Mike for doing the reconnaissance on this video. Knew that this stuff was here for me, so just went on a bike ride and let the rest happen. But pretty cool new build on some old stuff. Rotting, kind of petrified. This is my new knocker stick. It's got the beaver chew. It's got the elephant energy right there with the tusk coming out in the eye. Just strength. Pretty neat though. Pretty intricate tree work. Stuff that I've shown before. Now there's some logs in it. I think that's new since I've been here. It's been a while. Cool stuff. Walked right by this one. Just looking at the viewfinder of the camera. Look at this. It's a little smiley with an X. I mean, it's not touching, but I mean, it's that visualization. And that's just teetering under this if it's not connected to it. It doesn't even look like it's hardly planted in the ground. Maybe it is. But that's cool. They put that over it. Got this going on. Just really cool shape on the ground. Little statue. Pretty obvious work. Definite obvious work right there. This is a new find. Total glyph right here. All interwoven. They're leaning on each other. The one layer, then the second, then the third. Like a rising all the way up. Look at this. Little hanger right there. Just hanging on. And then these across 1, 2, 3, 4, perfectly just stuck in there. There's no way this is just falling nature. This is an arrangement of nature by some kind of creature. I don't know. I got a good feeling about this one. I really like this. I really like this one a lot. Just very perfect in every little touch. Just so unique. These creatures, just see both sides of them. There's all the fear mongering, which is, you know, have worry, but understand how close they are to you, and you make amends with the children, so when they grow up they know you all your life. They know humanity, so they're like a part of us, you know what I mean? They're an animal that's around us, that knows us, that lives near us, that accepts us. It's, you know, if you saw a duck in a stream and he doesn't fly away, thinks you're going to shoot him, then that animal's just a little more used to you. And, you know, that's just It's amazing. You can look at these things in predatory nature, like they're a predator, or you can look at them like, you know, they're intelligent. Look what they're creating, and they're, you know, they're not usually violent. I think that's the case most of the time. Even dogmen, you'll see tons of cases where dogman shows itself to somebody and then runs away, or does a little fooling around and scares you, but doesn't get you. I know they can get in and get you too, but it's just interesting to think of the nature of animals and us, and who's a killer and who's not. And same thing with Bigfoot, you know, which ones are vicious and which ones are accepting of humanity. Just an interesting question to think about. But these things seem so peaceful with their art and their connection to the forest. It just seems like maybe if you bring something into their domain that's their living room that they don't like, they might have a bad reaction. But people make weird decisions too, you know. I don't know. It's kind of spooky, these things, but it's amazing at the same time. I think it's got to be young ones in here doing this, but then I don't know. It's really smart mind. I'm sure the big ones pass through too to check on them, so just don't know where they are, who they are, but it's interesting to fathom their creations. Potential structure, older structure, or maybe they just do like single placements here occasionally every Christmas. I don't know, counting their age. I don't know, just making a joke, but you know what I mean. Just sticks looks like they're from various times. Like that one's drooping down right there. That's older. This, I mean, that's been on the ground longer. That's really old. Like you can tell those are hardened. So I don't know. Stuff could have all fell here, but it kind of has the feeling that it was some manipulation. But let's just get a closer look at that one in there. Looks like a rabbit, like with the eyeball for Easter. The eyes right there, and then long ear, and the shape of the body right there. It's just pareidolia, but it's interesting because they actually can recognize shapes like that, and potentially I've seen them do things numerous times where I think they could have laid this in representation as something. I could be totally reading into it, but you got to figure that artistic mind is within them, and they see the forest in that way, and you can make signs like that with them. If you were to carve a rabbit per se into the wood, then they would recognize that as a communication of some sort, or you know, that you just did it, but they would know what it is more than anything. Yeah, the insects are out in Colorado. It's going to start getting nice. Finally, hopefully no more winter comes and hurts the Mother Nature. I want it to spring up. Alright, you're on the Sasquatch tour. With the structure tour. Just rode another maybe 3/4 of a mile to a mile to get to this one that we've found before, coming from a different trailhead. They were hiding in there. I don't know why they'd put that stick, or maybe they would to break up their outline, their shape. I just don't know what exactly it is, but it's so cool to see their creations. An important part of their life in certain parts of the country. And then others you don't find as many manipulations, like Driftless. He finds some really unique, interesting stuff, but it's because he's in a different style of forest. This is a lot of dead stuff, and it's just different trees and different density of trees and all sorts of reasons why they might build like this all throughout here and build different in other places, build bigger in some places. Cool to think about all those things as you listen to the encounters and people's experiences with these creatures. But anyway, cool manipulation on the structure. Just a little different build, but same concept, you know? I don't know if this could be like a footprint of one or not. There's my foot next to it. It's pretty large. Kind of has a divot in the middle, but it could be 2 steps. Anyway, it's right next to this big pile. I don't know if it's cut, if it's human or Bigfoot. There's some cut ends right there and stuff. But then there's also like, looks like bark placement here, like bunches of bark, you know, set in here and laid on top just in this particular area. And there's none of that anywhere around it really. Here and here, but this part doesn't have any bark. It's not full of bark on the inside. So it looks like something maybe piled this up and just decided to throw this bark in. I don't know. This is a super interesting looking find. I mean, totally dismissible as human, you know what I mean? It's got some cut pieces popping out. But I mean, you know, and possibly humans did come and build this like as a brush pile, and then something else set all the bark on top. I don't know. Got some plant in here. Plant material. I'm just saying that, you know, it's not just a stick pile. You know, that's kind of fresh looking stuff. I don't know what it is for. Something goes in there. Protection at night. It's got some energy for them. I don't even know who made it, but I'm not sure. I don't think humans put that bark on it, is all I'm saying. So it's a potential Bigfoot creation. Just a potential. Not the most convincing, but just got some ripped off plant material and some stuff that kind of just gives you the feeling that it's them. This hanging here. I don't know, maybe a little language here, maybe not. Maybe it just fell all like this right in front. Maybe this is something, maybe it's not, you know. I mean, more so this, just kind of, I don't know what they do, what they think, but it looks like they could have manipulated this in some way and possibly have created it. Just flew by it on the bike and I'm like, hold on, we get to turn around and look. So anyway, giving you a look at it as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you later.